They dedicate their lives to helping orphaned animals. They open their hearts and homes to all the challenges of raising a young life, no matter how large or small. They are the Wildlife Nannies. Today on Wildlife Nannies, abandoned seal pups learn how to swim with the help of their nanny Tanya. Will they find their way back to the North Sea with her help? And birds of prey in Hellenthal. Eagle Fallon has been working with trainer Carl for weeks and is now ready for his first big show in front of an audience. Baby Ingo is also training to be a big eagle in the wild one day. Also, a special wildlife moment with Nanny Margaret in Australia. She's found an injured platypus. Will she be able to nurse the little fellow back to health? The Sea Life Sanctuary along the endless beaches of Friedrichskoog, Germany, has taken care of abandoned seal pups for over 20 years. This is Max. It's early morning, and this baby seal's anxious to see his nanny Tanya Rosenberg.
He was found ashore from a national park ranger, and he informed the seal hunter because he was in a very good condition, fit, and found abandoned without a mother. And so the seal hunter decided he is alone. He is about 5-6 days old, and the stomatal cord was fallen down, and he was in a very good condition.
As a newcomer, Max still has to remain in quarantine before he can join the other seals in the big tank.
Normally, if a pup is born too early, they try to stay on the landscape, on a sandbank, and not to go into the water without sands in it. But we try to do it with them after the feeding because we want to train them. We want to see if everything is okay with their muscles, with the flippers, and with their breathing, with the lungs. So after every feeding, they have to swim 2 to 3 rounds in the pool with us.
Very soon, Max will be introduced to all of the other seals here at the park, but will they give him a warm welcome? The nature park, Hellenthal, lies on the border of Belgium and Germany. For many years, this sanctuary has taken care of all sorts of birds of prey and has had great success releasing them back into the wild. This is Gonzo, a baby owl, and his neighbor, the baby bald eagle Ingo. Both these babies were born at the same time here, but that doesn't automatically make them good neighbors. Ingo can't stand the constant complaints of Gonzo. He starts hooting early in the morning, and Ingo knows that when Falconer Carl first comes with breakfast, he'll be forced to visit Gonzo again. Gonzo complains if he gets put on the scale. He complains when he's taken off the scale. He's just a very talkative fellow. Ingo, on the other hand, already has all the dignity and patience of a grown eagle. Even if he's still reminiscent of an ugly duckling, he's already at the healthy weight of 2 pounds.
This little one in front here is a 3.5-week-old owl. Next to him is an American bald eagle. He's 3.5 weeks old too. Since we opened here 24 years ago, we've raised 78 bald eagles here. That's the highest birth rate in the world. These guys are grown up after 3 months. Just imagine they eat 1 ounce when they're born, and 3 months later, you have a 13-pound bird with a 6-foot 5-inch wingspan. And he's clumsy and doesn't know what to do with his own size.
But there comes a point when even the patience of a bald eagle like Ingo runs out. After all, one can't be henpecked by an owl all day, and this future king of the air finally decides to set some boundaries and establish who's boss here. Besides, he needs his rest because Carl has big plans for him. At the North Sea, Max has joined the other seal pups in the nursery pool. After a good sniff session, these 3 seem to be getting along very well.
These are the 3 first haulers of the season. This is Max, the one with the back to us. Beneath him it's Moritz, and the one in the corner, digging in the dirt, this is Adele. Adele is the smallest one, and you can see that there are rest of his lanugo on him. This coat is normally changed in the mother, and he's also small because he's born too early, just about 7 kilos, and the other ones have 9 to 10, so you can also see the difference in the weight and the size.
Because Adele is the smallest and weakest of the seals, she has to undergo regular exams.
7.1. So Adele, this is quite good. The ears are okay, there's a bit sand on the eye, and we have to look at him in a special way because he is in his weight from about 7.1. This is not so much weight, and these animals sometimes have problems with infections, so we also have to check the temperature. And then the length. It's 53. This is okay. And 39. And at the end, there's an injection with antibiotics. Okay, good.
With a clean bill of health, Adele and the other seals can now look forward to lunchtime. Eagle Ingo gets a small vacation from his hooting neighbor.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required. Download Veely now.
Carl is taking him on a little excursion to the outdoor enclosure of the other young birds of prey, where he will be introduced to Fallon, a bald eagle waiting for his big debut. It's very important for young birds raised by human hand to maintain contact with their own kind. Only then do they become independent and can reintegrate into the wild.
We do whatever we can to give these guys food like in nature. So today it's chicks. But they also get rabbits, rats, doves, guinea pigs, and so on.
Although Ingo is starving, he takes his time with the meal. After all, Carl rations the food very fairly, and Ingo doesn't have to compete with all the new dinner guests. Fallon is observing the new member of this patchwork family very carefully.
It's fascinating how many different birds get along here. There's no envy because everyone gets the same rations. Otherwise, we'd have problems. If there were only two birds in the nest, the Abel conflict would kick in, and the bigger one would hack around on the smaller one. We've even got big birds mixed in here, and it's all working out.
Now Carl can continue with his training of Fallon. Will he join the show today? It's also lunchtime at the North Sea. But instead of chicken, there's fish on the menu. The fish can't be fed whole to the seal pups. Instead, it has to be puree.
The first time we feed them all 3 hours, and in front of this they're hungry and you can hear them calling. So, Adele, mal baden gehen? Häxchen.
But before lunch, flippers and faces have to be washed. Even if these little ones are not too fond of water yet. Tanya doesn't give anyone the chance to get away. Everyone has to be clean at the dinner table.
We use forced feeding with a rubber tube. It looks a bit strange, but we can't use a feeding bottle because harbor seals do it like whales with the mothers. The milk is running so that they just have to drink it, and so we can't use a bottle. For them it's normal, and as you can see they are coming and they are snapping for this tube, so it's feeding for them.
And is it nap time afterwards? Nope, not with Nanny Tanya in charge. First, there's a little water exercise to get the digestion going. These seal pups aren't crazy about the water yet, but with Tanya's help, they soon will be. It's Fallon's big day. Although he's only a few months old, he's already practicing for his first appearance in the falconry show. He's very excited about his big debut because he loves activity and, of course, the treats.
Okay, Fallon, let's see how well you can fly from A to B. See if you can do it.
Carl sees a lot of show potential in Fallon, and his assistant Karen helps him to put Fallon through his paces. But he still has to learn to hit his mark exactly, and not let himself be distracted by other people.
Well, I think that he's ready for the show. We'll start him off slowly and then see. Today he was really excellent. Great.
Looks like nothing's standing in the way of Fallon's first big appearance in front of a live audience. At the swim lesson, the seals are taking their time. They're not really thrilled by all that water activity. But no matter, Tanya does her best to encourage a regular swim program, and she is quite an insistent teacher.
He's biting into our rubber trousers, and they have only a few millimeters of teeth, but they are very sharp, and so they can bite holes into these trousers, and that's not so nice.
Swim practice finally comes to an end. Tanya gives them a well-deserved reward. She lets them bask in the warm sun to relax. Soon, these three will be moved to the adult pool. How will they do in their new surroundings? It was a stormy night in Australia, and the Lumholtz Lodge in Queensland received a very special new patient. Margaret Cianelli's neighbor John has found an injured platypus, and everyone is waiting for the local vet to call them back.
Yeah, but I really don't like his shape at all. He's very skinny, like his tail is very skinny, and the rest of his body is too big, like he's bloated. So I really don't know what goes on. Margaret here.
Yeah, 9:30, that's great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.
Sorry, do you want...
Margaret is relieved to have been able to get an emergency appointment for this little patient. But there are very few vets that know how to treat these creatures. Although the platypus makes its home in this region, it's still a rare and unique species. Margaret's neighbor found this baby on the street, far from any water, and Margaret is worried for the little one.
Yes, nice and solid. And he was every time I
At least the lungs are clear, and the vet finds no signs of infection. But the platypus is very weak. Margaret puts him on the scale, but since there are no comparative size or weight charts for the species, his age cannot really be determined. But at least the vet's diagnosis is hopeful.
I think your best thing is just feed him up. He is lean, he needs to get some weight on him before you release him. Other than that, he actually looks quite good. His lungs are clear, his tummy feels normal, there's no obstructions or anything like that in there. But yeah, that's where I'd go from here. The other thing I'll do is I'll have a ring Wendy, because she's our expert on everything. Thank you. Dear Margaret.
Thank you very much.
Margaret is very relieved that this little flat-beaked patient will be all right. Now she just has to nurse him back to health. But what exactly does a platypus eat? And what's Margaret suddenly doing in a travel office? To pick up worms? Why, of course. Wendy, the owner of the travel bureau, also has a side interest. She runs a local worm farm. Margaret can now choose from some 1.3 million worms. Surely that must be enough choice for even a platypus. Wendy's even willing to offer the patient complimentary meals. Just to be on the safe side, Margaret is taking a full selection: rainworms, mealworms, and tubifex worms. This way the patient has a choice for dinner. Because of their duck-like beaks, platypuses can only eat in water.
Maybe not.
And look who's still staying with Margaret. It's Dorothy, the tree kangaroo. Of course, Dorothy's also curious about Margaret's latest patient. The platypus, like the echidna, is one of the few egg-laying mammals. It's also thought to be an extremely old species. In any case, the patient seems to have developed quite an appetite.
It's really completely strange how he moves his jaws. I noticed that right away when I fed him for the first time. The jaw doesn't go up or down at all. It kind of goes sideways. The whole head moves strangely. Look how strangely he moves. It's unbelievable how he eats. Look at that. Look at his jaw.
The patient looked very comfortable back in the water, but Margaret puts him in a heating box overnight just to be sure. There, he can get warm and gather his strength. With Margaret's nursing, this little platypus will soon be back in the wild. In the meantime, he's well taken care of here at the Lumholtz Lodge. 3 months have gone by. Adele, Max, and Moritz have grown quite a bit and are well on their way to getting back to the wild. They've been moved into a pool with other seals and have already learned a lot from them. These days, they don't let Tanya boss them around anymore.
So, die Herrschaften. This is Elizabeth, and she's not as cute as she looks like, as you see. And yeah, they're a bigger one now, and she got the fish with antibiotics inside, and so I have to catch her. And they don't like, also Adele doesn't like if you come too close and try to touch them, to catch them, to examine them. They don't like this in this age. And we do this only once a day because it's stressy for them, and so we throw the fish into the water, and only if they get these antibiotics and this medical fish, then we catch them. This is whole fish now, and we just threw it into the water. They have to dive for their prey, and the faster ones get more fish, and then also their weight is much higher than the weight of the others, so that we separate the fatter ones from the smaller ones. Adele had a lot of ups and downs, and now he's in a good way, and one of the faster ones in this pool, but we hope that we can put him into the release pool in a few days.
How will our 3 pups do in the release pool? The Birds of Prey show is about to start. Karen is holding Fallon, who'll be attempting his first landing in front of a live audience. There are more than 40 different species of birds here in Hellenthal, but the biggest success is their bald eagle program. In 1982, then President Ronald Reagan was an honored guest at one of the shows. These falcons can reach speeds of up to 186 miles per hour when swooping down. Fallon is circling up above already. Now is the time for his big moment.
Wow! So that was Fallon. So Fallon did really well during his first show. We had good wind conditions and he took off well, climbed really nicely, and came back like a real pro. That's wonderful for such a young bird.
So far, Ingo can only dream of a show career. If only he didn't have such a loud neighbor. But at least the barricade is up, and he's on his own, no matter how much Gonzo complains. After lunch, Ingo can continue to dream of being able to circle in the air. In a few months, he'll do exactly that. With Carl's help, he'll be a free eagle without a noisy neighbor. The 3 seal pups have now graduated to the release pool. Here, they receive their last few pounds of fish before they're released back into the open ocean.
We have to count them before we feed them to be sure that everyone is here and is all right.
It's very important that these young seals have stored enough fat. It's their only protection against the much colder waters of the Atlantic. They can also use this reserve in case their hunting techniques take a little while to kick in. But for now, they can still enjoy fish they don't have to hunt for themselves.
This is the point we work for, that we go out with a boat and put them back into their environment where they belong to. This is just a second chance, and so it's the best day for us to bring them out back into the wildlife.
Soon, Adele, Max, and Moritz will be free in the open ocean and will be able to swim to their heart's content.